Well. Unbelievable. The Bears on Hard Knocks. The experience has come to an end. I have a tear in my eye. Number one, wow. Very impressive. Hard Knocks After Dark, presented by ComEd. ComEd is helping us keep the lights on. Mark Carman, Adam Hoge, Greg Braggs Jr., Corey Wootton. I don't know what you're laughing at. This is a serious show. Bears After Dark, Hard Knocks, done. Flus bees, emotional polls. Flus has the greatest house I've ever seen. Let's get into instant reactions right now, team. I see a lot of smiling faces. Hoge, you want to go first here? You look very eager, my friend.
Yeah, well, my instant reaction right now is you still haven't set up that damn microphone. I'm going to kill you.
So
nope.
Nope. You brought it up, and you will get a response. We got the base is here today, and it will be set up. So it arrived today. It'll get done. It just didn't get done today because a lot of moving parts. But we have it, and there's progress has been made. Now give me your damn ass instant reaction. Hard Knocks Bears. That was an amazing episode. I cried. I smiled. I laughed. Hi Woot. Hi Braggs.
Hello. Did you really cry though?
I did get a little teary because I mean, for some, listen, I've been cut from every team I've ever tried out for. I was cut from
seven. To be cut from this one too.
Yeah, I love you know what my new favorite thing is? Angry Hoge. I like angry, annoyed Hoge. That's my new favorite Hoge. I got cut from this. I'm being vulnerable here. I got cut from the 7th grade basketball team. I got cut from the 8th grade basketball team. I should have made both those teams. I didn't make those teams. I got cut from freshman year. 5 foot, 100-pound prepubescent Carman. I was Adrian Colbert today, so there's a part of me. I got cut from the Iowa Hawkeye walk-on squad. I know getting cut. So yes, I felt it today, Woot. I did.
I mean, I just what I love the most is that they showed in Hard Knocks. What I love is they show those interactions between the GM and the coaches and the players. And the one in particular, especially with Colbert, I think that one hit home for a lot of people. Yeah. Because I think that was such a hard decision for Ryan Poles. I feel like he was so emotionally conflicted because I feel like he was such a good dude. He was a good leader in the locker room. So I think that was a tough one for him to do. And I think that's what a lot of these GMs battle with. And I think Poles, it really shows how he cares for these guys. Because I think most GMs, sometimes they cut a player and not think twice about it, even if they're a good dude, even if they're good for the locker room. But I think Poles is a great dude, and I love what he's building. And I think it sheds him in a different light than people that didn't really know much about him, especially this Hard Knocks in general. Just his love for the players.
Yeah, I mean, Woot, have you ever heard of that? He left the room and then came back in. That whole scene right there. Have you ever heard of anything like that?
No, I've never seen it. Usually a lot of these GMs are ready to cut people. Like, yep, you're gone. Bye. That's the reality of the NFL is the cutthroat part of the business. And I think the thing that resonated is like the fact that he said most of these guys, it'll be the last time ever playing. And that happened to him. He was there 2008. But think about it, from the time you're a kid, right? Whether you play a long NFL career or you get cut there, your dream is to make it. And a lot of those guys, they never get a chance to make it at all on an active roster, practice squad, any of that nature. So it's definitely a tough pill to swallow for a lot of those guys that had high hopes and high dreams.
Yeah. Back to you, Hoger. What was your instant reaction to the final episode?
Yeah, I got a lot of like smaller things that I will touch on, but honestly, the biggest thing I got left with as that episode ended is, it was my 14th season covering this team. I've never felt better about the direction that they're headed. And we've obviously been duped before. I think there's a difference though between hope and some things that are a little bit what's the word? Some things that seem a little bit more
grounded in reality.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like I think we kind of talked ourselves into some things. Like, and I don't want to make this so much based on like how good these guys seem. They are good guys. I know that from talking to them. But guess what? Ryan Pace was also a good guy. Ryan Pace was a good dude. I had a lot of interactions with him too. But I just feel like you walk out of these 5 episodes of Hard Knocks with just some behind the scenes confirmation of things that we already felt good about. I'd be shocked, and I know I said this last year, but if you're one of 31 other teams watching that, how's Ian Cunningham not the first phone call you make if you fire your GM after this season? Not only just because of how Ian Cunningham came off, he didn't have a huge part in that, but Ryan Poles was so impressive, I thought, throughout this series, and has been with on top of all the moves he's made, that you want the guy that's learning underneath him, right? You like that little interaction they had there where he said the same thing about Adrian Colbert that Ryan said, and he's like, I just said that too. Like they're so in sync there that I think you feel good about the front office. You obviously feel good about the quarterback. There's another moment in there right there that if you're not believing us for things that we're saying about Caleb Williams or saying that we're hearing about Caleb on and off the microphone, there's a quarterback that's in the room right there in a raw moment who, is not doing an interview. He doesn't need to say something nice about Caleb Williams, but he's not only saying like, yeah, you're going to have a really good player here, but as he's on his way to the airport to join the Minnesota Vikings, he's like, that's going to be a good team. The Bears are going to be a good team. So I just think there's so many examples like that. And I know I've been on an island even with the head coach here for a couple of years. I feel like there's some people starting to pull up their boats to the island I've been on and starting to get a little crowded here on Matt Eberflus. I think people are starting to buy in on this. And I understood why nobody was with me for a while. But when some wins start piling up here, I think more people are going to be jumping on the Matt Eberflus bandwagon too. So just my overall take throughout these 5 episodes now that they're done is I just feel even more confident than I already did about the direction of this franchise.
I mean, right now, I think if Flus put out there, he's got honey to sell. I think it would sell out in 3 seconds. We'd buy Flus P honey. Flus. I agree with you. Flus has had a major come up in the last. We probably can date it back to 6 months. Gregory, get in here. What's your instant reaction?
Yeah, I mean, to kind of piggyback off what Hoge's saying, to kind of put a bow on this Hard Knocks series, and it was a lot of fun to watch this behind-the-scenes look. We all wanted this as Bears fans, and we got it for 5 episodes. And it is a it when you see it kind of thing. And we don't always have, the best teams in Chicago year to year, but when they do come along, the teams that do have that right look, that right talent, that right chemistry, it does start to have a different type of feel. We always talk ourselves into the best hopes and dreams we can have for every single team, every single season, and it doesn't always seem to work out. But those teams that kind of transcend our hopes and dreams and shift it into something that's more of a reality, you feel it. And, I think when you look at the first episode all the way to the last, and you see how in the first episode, Caleb Williams is struggling, right? And they're playing the music and it's about him being an ordinary man, right? And then it ends with him gripping and ripping it in rhythm and just everything's clicking on all cylinders. And you see the camaraderie of the team start to come together. It's an exciting time right now to be a Chicago Bears fan. Ryan Poles is the real deal Holyfield GM. I have, maybe I still have some things that I want to see Matt Eberflus prove to me, but Ryan Poles, from the day he's walked in here as one of the youngest GMs, if not the youngest GM in football, credit to George McCaskey for seeing the light and hiring this guy and not letting him take a flight to Minnesota and potentially becoming the Vikings GM. He kept him here. And the job that Ryan Poles has done to rebuild this roster, but not just rebuild this roster, rebuild this culture. And culture is kind of a loosely used term in sports, but that's, again, it when you see it. And when I see my GM of the team that I've rooted for my whole life, the team that Corey Wootton played for, getting emotional because he has to make a tough cut with Adrian Colbert, I think that really underlines just how much blood, sweat, and tears this guy is putting into this team. When I watch him in a highlight reel at Bourbonnais in 2008 at the outdoor stadium playing a night practice, I promise you I was sitting in those stands that day. To now see him become the GM of the team and rebuild this team to where it is now, it just gets me so excited as a Bears fan of the direction we're going. So I completely agree with you, Hoge. That's kind of what resonated with me tonight.
That was cool that they pulled out that audio of 70 on the field. That was a good job by the Hard Knocks producers. Good, excellent work. Woot, let me give my my big takeaway. Velus Jones Jr. came a long way in a short period of time. Yeah. You got Chad Morton going to bat for him. You got Ryan Poles saying he's alive. I thought that was like a little.
You got another team calling a trade for him,
right? And he's and you exactly. And he said, "I'm not a fourth." He wasn't going to give him away. So now maybe whoever that team was, maybe they're kicking themselves, or hopefully they'll be kicking themselves. They wouldn't give up a fourth rounder for him. But the level that people were championing for Velus, it's like, man, you saved your career in Chicago, my friend. That was a big time deal.
Could you imagine if the Bears had gotten a fourth back for Velus Jones after they just flipped one for Austin Booker? And you're right. At one point, Chad Morton said, "I'm going to fight for Velus more than anybody on this roster." That's what Chad Morton had to say about Velus. And so you could tell just in those conversations, if not for this position switch, he wasn't making this roster. And so for him to not only make the position switch, but then make the impact and the impression that he did, and not just outside the tackles, inside the tackles. And that's something that I think is going underlooked, is just how much he impressed them inside the tackles. I think that is what really pushed it over the top for Velus to make this roster.
We lost your mic with your movement here. Go back to whatever you had before.
Hoge, your Velus thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, that was a fascinating scene. It had me thinking, man, I sympathize with Poles in that moment, because it's like a guy that probably 2 weeks ago someone offered you a 4th round pick, you're gonna take it easily. And now, like, what I got out of that conversation was, I won't take anything worse than a 4th round pick, but even a 4th rounder is like, he didn't want to give him up. He was like, man, we got something here that's tough to give up at this time. So I found that super interesting.
And you're not back. No, we messed with Woot, and now we can't hear Woot. It's a terrible feeling.
No, this is great, because if he's making fun of me, we can't hear him, and that's perfect for me. That's a perfect spot to be in. Can't talk about my biceps now, can you, Woot?
Behind the scenes, we were working on Woot's mic, and Woot went production maneuver on the scene, and now we're trying to fix it out here. I don't know, maybe you might want to log in, log back on.
Yeah, I was gonna say log out and redo the input and then come back in.
And while he goes out, I'll do my one, and I think you guys are gonna agree with me, but maybe you won't. There was one really weird moment in the show tonight, and it's when Kevin Warren gets in there with Papa Bear, and they're showing him at his desk, and he's looking to his right to like look at Papa Bear looking over him. And I'm just like, okay, that is weird. Take that painting down or put it somewhere else. I wouldn't want that dude lording over me in my office. And just like look at him, and it's just like ghost. That was weird. Am I the only one that thought that was weird? Because that was freaking weird.
I didn't find that weird at all, but I did not know about that chandelier situation.
Neither did I.
Yes, that was interesting.
I thought that was cool, because I've seen that, but I didn't know that like it had that type of meaning. And
yeah, the chandelier rods, each color signifies something different. So white was for winning, blue were for playoffs, and orange were for championships. And at the bottom of the rods of the chandelier tips were the years of each one. So I thought that was interesting for sure too.
Yeah.
I heard a tap. Woot.
You guys got me?
Woot, yeah. Woot,
you are here just in time for a break.
That's right. Woot,
yeah,
there
we go.
Back. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll get Woot's thoughts here. But first, want to give a quick shout out to ComEd. It's getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That's something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and the well-being of all of us who share it.
Yeah, the electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
That's right. So what should business owners do?
You go to ComEd.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, do not wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. Go to ComEd.com/clean.
Did you say ComEd.com/clean?
Yeah, go now and see how going electric connects us to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
There we go.
Hey, Woot, is it too hot to have John Belia right now in Houston? I don't know why I'm asking you that question. That could be for anyone, I suppose. But that was Ian Wheeler. You're adorable. Your
I think
mom's
it was Gumbo.
I know it was. I wrote it down. John Belia. It's too hot for John Belia.
I think we named it.
Jambalaya is good though, man. A little
Yeah.
spice to it. I love me some jambalaya. But
Yeah.
what I was gonna say before my mic went out about Velus Jones, think about who the Bears had. Cordell Patterson, right? Who was kind of in that similar role, trying to find a spot, wide receiver, great returner, found a role as a running back. And I feel like that's where he really started to make his hay. So I think they see a lot of similarities with him and Velus Jones, especially like I think Cordell Patterson is a little bit taller, but I want to say Velus Jones has is pretty stocky. Like I don't think people give him a credit for how put together he is. So I think this could be the best thing maybe to ever happen to his career. I think it could elongate it, and especially if he has versatility to be able to play running back, wide receiver, and returner, unbelievable.
So I wanted to ask you guys that question. I mean, we did not get confirmation in this episode that there was a team offering a 4th round pick. So, I'm not sure that was actually on the table. We do know that there was a team calling. It was uncertain what the compensation was. We just know Flus said that he would not take anything worse than a 4th rounder. Would you have taken a 4th round pick for Velus Jones last week?
I would have. Yeah, I 100% would have.
Yeah, I agree.
Go ahead. We can go around the table. Yeah, we can go around the whole
Yeah,
Some
I agree.
guys out there that get fifth rounders for him. I would have took a 4th rounder.
It might have put him a little behind with the kick return game because I do think he's already shown he can bring a lot to the kick return, and you're going to need that, especially with the rule change. So that would have probably made me hesitant. But if you're just talking strictly what his impact is going to be as a running back, I mean, we were having our show today, and Carm was talking about, hey, he could have 250 yards on the season. Well, that's great for him and a step in the right direction. But when you're talking about, all the talent on this offense, he's not going to get too many opportunities other than being that kind of little X factor that you sprinkle in at certain times, certain situational play calls. So to be able to get a 4th round back, and you saw what Ryan Poles did with 4th rounders this year, right? You had Keenan Allen with a 4th rounder, and you traded for Austin Booker with another 4th rounder. So, those are 2 examples of just how valuable a 4th round pick could be.
Yeah. I just want to Zero Demon. You're right. It's my bad. I apologize. $5 super chat, which is I got my John Belia, my gumbo mix up. Too hot for gumbo. That's why he asked for John Belia. Pay attention, Carm Sheesh. You're right, Zero Demon. Absolutely. And my answer to
you're right, Hoge.
It's a Hoge slight. That's a new segment.
You owe him $5 because you didn't listen to me, and then he had to pay $5 to correct you.
I might owe Zero Demon. I might owe you $5.
Yeah, if you go to the tailgates, Carm's got double that.
I got you, Zero.
Triple maybe.
I'm not trading Velus for a 4th round pick. I'm buying in. That is it. I'm in on the Velus, man.
You're not sure. I thought for sure you would say you take a 4th.
Listen, I would have traded Velus at the start of training camp for a 7th round pick. Record be for real. I would have given him away, but I fell in love watching him at running back, man. How many guys do you see? And I get it that he was going against 2nd, 3rd stringers, and I thought there was one point that Flus said that we don't know exactly who he was talking about, but he said something along the lines of it could look different against better competition. I thought maybe he could have been talking about Velus and him running away from some backups. But how many guys do you see that have the ability to run away from dudes like that? Plus the fact that he's physical, plus the fact that he returns kicks, plus the fact that you've got Richard Hightower saying that he's way better at gunner. I wouldn't give him away for a 4th round pick right now. I want to see what they have in Velus more. I'd give him opportunities is what I would do with Velus right now. I think he's an interesting cat. I'm not saying it's going to work out, but I definitely want to see more. I am like last year I was Ty curious. I'm Velus curious. Let's go.
I mean, part of that math is they did trade a 4th round pick for Austin Booker. So recouping that would be nice. I'm honestly torn on it right now. I feel like trading him and I'm sorry, Poles kind of mentioned that. He's like, that's unbelievable value. Like, I don't know how you would pass on that at this point, but at the same time, it's like what he said a couple times in that episode, what they need now versus what they need later. That is where things have shifted. And I know, Braggs, you've been kind of on that lately. And I think there's some proof there in that episode that I don't think it's all the way towards like, that's where I sort of have disagreed with you, Greg, sometimes. Like, I don't think all the chips are in. I don't think they're to that point. I think they will be next year. But that little couple conversations in there and possibly trading Velus was one of those conversations where it's like the what they need now has changed a lot from the past 2 seasons.
Yeah. No question. And that's another reason why I've continued to commend Ryan Poles for the job he's doing, because even last year he was trying to put together a team that could compete and give Justin Fields a chance to prove that he was the quarterback of the future. Didn't work out for all the different reasons that we've talked ad nauseum about. But at the same time, then he had this other path with the draft equity that was lining himself up for the future. So, those are 2 different strategies you got to take into account, trying to win right now, but also looking forward to the future. And I think Ryan Poles has done a good job of kind of twirling that dance.
Well, one thing about Velus real quick is if you look at the running back room, right? It's a crowded room. There's a lot of talented guys. Like, he might get some reps, but is he really going to get as much as we think? And the wide receiver room as well, talented room. Is he going to get as many reps? So I think the real value for him was primarily special teams. I know they talked about running back and what he can do, but I think his value was all special teams. Like, he's not going to get that many reps at running back or receiver this year. I think we could all agree on that, right? It's probably going to be some trick plays here or there, but he's not going to have a huge role on the offense. At least I don't think so. Do you guys think that?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
Only if injuries hit,
right?
Yeah, but not off the bat. I think there's so talented running back room and wide receiver room that it'd be hard to find a spot for him.
Well, but
I like him more than Roshan in terms of explosiveness.
I think I think they're going to look for creative ways to use him. I don't think they're going. I think they're going to. I think Chad Morton's going to be pushing like, let's get him at least 2-3 carries a game and see if he can pop one. I think the fact that they feel comfortable letting him run in between the tackles, that he's going to fall forward, and now he fumbles once, this whole thing can go sideways real fast.
Right.
But if he
that was the thing that was kind of funny to me when Chad Morton was talking to him. He's like, you're gonna do great things in this league, and I turned to Jenny. He's like, they're talking to him like he's a rookie. And he's in his 3rd year. So that was kind of funny. And it's like, so to your point, Wood, of like, well, how many reps are they actually going to give him? Well, how much can you experiment with a guy that are you 100% sure he's going to know what he's doing? And you got to put him out there, and you're trying to win right now. You're calling plays to win games today, but then you're putting this guy out there who is explosive, who defenses do have to key in on when he's on the field. But at the same time, once you say hike, does he know exactly what his responsibilities are? Is he going to understand where the blitz is coming from? If he has to pass protect, is he going to understand his run gaps? Is he going to understand where the blockers are going? There's a lot of intricacies other than just being fast that you have to be able to stay on the field and get those reps.
Well, let's call it what it is. I think you don't love Velus. You're not a Velus guy.
No, I like him for special teams. I'm just trying to figure out where his spot is. It's a loaded running back room. We just got Swift. We paid him a decent amount of money. We have Khalil Herbert as well. We got Roshan Johnson. Where does he fit? You know what I'm saying? Like we're a three deep back that I feel like those guys could be a 1-2 punch for any team in this league.
See, and I wonder if he can pop right ahead of both of them if he keeps going and maintains his positive momentum. That might be too tall of an ask, but
maybe though Herbert is going to be the odd man out just because he's different. You know what I mean? He's the quick back. He's been injured. Maybe there's a scenario where they eventually trade for him or he slides. I don't know, but I feel like for that standpoint, it's just hard for me to believe that he's really going to have a huge role offensively.
Yeah. Hey, can we get that super chat from ET real quick here? Because you can answer this as we get ready for the Braggsies in about 5 minutes, which I think everybody's on the edge of their seats because this is the final Braggsies. But I thought this was an interesting question. $20 super chat. Does it make a difference when you get cut by a guy like Poles, who was undrafted and cut by this very team? He never got another shot in his NFL career, but now he's a GM. Does it matter that he's been in those shoes before? Like if you were sitting in that room, Wood, I'm assuming it wouldn't matter at all, but maybe it does. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think the way he went about it is different from what I've heard from different GMs of what you see on Hard Knocks every year. There was definitely more of a emotional connection to him letting go of the guys, just because it's such a tough time. He's been through it. But yeah, I feel like honestly, like most guys, GMs seem like they really don't care, to be honest. Like it's a part of the business. It's cutthroat. You just get so used to it after so long. And I feel like for Poles, it kind of ate him up. And I want to say that most GMs probably don't feel that way unless they had a guy that they really were vouching for and wanted to make the team that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Karma, I'll tell you where I think it matters. I'm not sure it cut down time. Like maybe it makes you just have a little bit more trust in the guy that's letting you go, but it doesn't change the fact that you lost your job. Like that part sucks. Everyone's going to hate that. I think though, like sort of leading up to it and maybe in moments where they bring the whole team together in the summer, and I don't know how often Ryan Poles addresses the entire team in those moments. Maybe you could speak to that more, like how much the GM actually would do that. But I would think that like maybe as they all come together in the spring, that time of year, you could say like, hey, look, we know this is going to end with half you guys getting cut. That's just the name of the game. But, I've been here. They can show the Hard Knocks stuff now next year. Being like, look, here's footage of me, blocking in front of Rex Grossman, and I didn't make it. So I've sat in that chair on the other side and been told that I'm not making the team. And yet now I'm the GM of this team. Like, so this is not the end of the road for you. And I think that can resonate as those guys are battling for that spots like over these last few months. I mean, that would add a lot of credibility in my eyes to the guy that might end up being the one dude who eventually tells you didn't make the team.
Yeah. And Wood, I was going to ask you, Wood, if you're a player watching and you're on some other team and you're watching this Hard Knocks, would what you've seen from Ryan Poles in these 5 episodes make you want to play under him as your GM?
I definitely think so. You look at especially what Ripien said when he was going on his way to the airport, right? I think they're a special bunch. I think they're going to do great things, the chemistry, all that. So if I was a guy that had opportunity, they got waived by somebody, but a lot of teams were vying for me, I would look at Chicago as a potential location, like 100%. I think what they're building is unbelievable. And, some people say, oh, it's fluff, it's whatever, it's for the cameras. I think there's a genuine, like the guys genuinely like each other. And I think that's what it comes across. I think from the top to bottom, that's what you want to have, people that care about each other, because it does translate to wins. And I'm excited for this year. I think everybody is excited as a Bears fan every year. But like Hoge said earlier, I think there is something special about this team. And I'm looking forward to seeing this Sunday, right? Especially if they have a strong performance. I think all the momentum, everything is going to build. And it's all about timing, right? It's all about hitting the ground running. And especially with Caleb, the amount of reps they've given him, I think has been awesome, because that's the key thing in the offseason. They usually don't give these young guys and starters, rather, reps. And he's getting a lot of reps. And I think Flus talked about that earlier in the episode, how many reps he's getting. And that's what you want your young guy to have, a lot of reps, because of the limited preseason.
That's right. We have solid 1,200 live viewers here watching the season finale Hard Knocks After Dark recap show here on CHGO Bears. We appreciate you guys tuning in this entire month here while we had some fun here on Tuesday nights, and now we look ahead to the season. But before we get there, make sure you become a diehard here at CHGO Sports. Now is as good a time as ever to become a diehard. When you become a diehard, you get a free shirt right out the gate. You get discounts on all future purchases on shirts. We had a new shirt design just drop here at CHGO Bears. Claws up. So make sure you go hit that up. That's right. There's our claws up design. Real sweet design our guy Eric out in Denver made. A lot of great designs, not just with the Chicago Bears, but all our different teams that we cover: Bears, Bulls, Cubs, Blackhawks, White Sox. You name it, we got it. Discounts on our tailgates here. We got a tailgate here coming up in T-minus 4.5 days. So we're going to be up there bright and early. And I already saw some people in the chat saying they're going to be there. If you become a diehard, you can get a discount on coming to that tailgate, but you don't have to be a diehard to come to the tailgate. Anybody can come if you purchase your tickets at allchgo.com/events. So there's so many different opportunities, from exclusive content, written content, Adam Hoge's weekly newsletter. Carm has written content exclusive to you as a diehard. Discord channel, happy hours that we'll do where you can talk to us personally. I know we're planning to do one here this week that Carm's in charge of. And then we're also, we also do some overtimes on the Discord voice channel where you can talk to us after shows at times. So we're trying to do as much as we can for you, the diehard. So go to allchgo.com/diehard and sign up today.
That's coming up on Thursday, by the way. We'll talk about that more on the show tomorrow. A little diehard extra in the Discord chat that I'm looking forward to hanging out. All right, we're going to get to the Braggsies. I think right now, if you are first watching our Hard Knocks recaps, what we have done is, there it is. The unbelievably talented Greg Braggs has created the Braggsies. Look at that figure. He is sexy, and he does have categories. There are 4 of them. We've got the best moment, the best character, the biggest surprise, and the worst moment. So, Gregory, take it away. Our final Braggsies, the Bears on Hard Knocks, to maybe never be on Hard Knocks again, unfortunately.
Yes, this will probably be the final time the Bears are ever on Hard Knocks, so these will definitely be the final Braggsy Awards I give out, unless we start giving out Braggsies for other different things that are award deserving. And Carm, you're always deserving of an award in my book.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Best moment for me, Poles. We talked about it. Poles getting emotional, cutting Adrian Colbert. That was just such a real, genuine, authentic moment. And I just enjoy just how much Ryan Poles wears his heart on his sleeve for the job that he does, and how he represents this team with a lot of class and character. So shout out to Ryan Poles. That was the best moment. Biggest surprise, again, something we talked about here, Poles not trading Velus for anything less than a 4th rounder. It just is surprising, knowing they drafted him as a 3rd rounder. You're 3 years in. You wouldn't take a 5th for him at this point. You're almost, cutting your losses and being able to get another draft pick when they've given up so many draft picks here in the last couple weeks even, and you're limited already next year in your draft equity. You had an opportunity there, but that's how much they have believed what they've seen in Velus Jones here the last few weeks. So shout out to Velus for really pushing that across the board and making the roster. Worst moment, there was a couple different ones. Jonathan Owens calling it the Indiana Fever game. I don't know if that was at the Chicago Sky game, or if Simone Biles was at a different game watching the Indiana Fever, but I just thought it was funny that that's how they referenced it, unless it wasn't at the Chicago Sky game, in which case you can just wipe that off the board. And then seeing Bourbonnais, I was like, man, as soon as I saw it, I was like, dang it, like Hard Knocks would have been so much better had it been at Bourbonnais, because just the vibes, the dorm room vibes would have been way better. Hitting the town out in Bourbonnais, some of the content coming that way. So I had to kind of stretch to figure out my worst moment, because I thought tonight was a really well done show to put a bow on this thing for HBO and Hard Knocks. So shout out to Shannon Furman, who came on a couple episodes ago. She did a great job, her and her team. My best character is for the whole season. We got 3 MVPs. Theo Benedict, the Canadian Eagle, Chad Morton bringing the hype as the assistant coach, and then, of course, DJ's adorable family finishing this show off here at the end. I think those 3 are the MVPs of the entire season, not just tonight for Hard Knocks featuring the Chicago Bears. So those are my Braggsy Awards. Congrats to all of you.
Ooh, the Braggsies.
I mean,
Best character. Here's 5 characters. You got to pick the best one.
yeah, yeah.
Well, the
Pick a
beauty
character.
of the Braggsies is that I can do whatever I want.
Oh, see, you guys gave this guy too much power. When he was
right.
a bricklayer, he was a lot different. I'm just happy to be here. Now he's like, this is my show after dark.
No, he wasn't. That dude thought he was the best bricklayer that ever laid bricks.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. I was
Yeah.
definitely.
I don't think so, because Hoge, you see bricklayers, right? I know bricklayers around here, construction guys. They got these tough man hands. He's got the softest, smallest hands in the world. So
Yeah.
bricklayers, I don't know. It's like that Burger King commercial with him. My hands
I do have.
are just small.
I do have a question though for you, Greg, because this is a long time coming. The
Mhm.
Bears on Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
You're fighting for it, and yelling about it, and borderline crying for it for years.
Yeah.
Was it everything that you wanted and hoped for?
Yeah.
Well, if we want to go around and give our grades, I'll give it a B. I'm very happy that we got Hard Knocks. It was cool to see a different perspective. I enjoyed that it was in Caleb's first year. If this all goes the way it's going to go, or the way we all hope it's going to go in the next 10 to 15 years, to start this journey where it's documented on Hard Knocks, I think that's really cool. But then, yes, of course, the way they kind of subdued, some of the storytelling, beyond whether or not they're swearing, but, cutting out some of the physicality, cutting out some of the, testiness and edginess and scrappiness at practice. I would have preferred to see a little bit more of the physicality that makes the NFL and football such a great sport and something why we all love it. So, overall, I enjoyed it. It's just easy TV. Me and my wife enjoyed it. She enjoyed learning the different storylines and appreciating these players on a different level. That's something that I always value going to training camp, is learning about these players and seeing them interact with their families after practice. But for a lot of fans, they're not able to go to practice to see those things. So I think they got to enjoy learning about the team on a different level that maybe some of us take for granted, because we do get to go to training camp every year, but not going to act like there wasn't some meat left on the bone. There certainly was things that were left out of this. I think somebody said, in the thing that Caitlin Clark got more airtime on Hard Knocks than Montez Sweat did in all 5 episodes. And so there was a lot of players that were completely left off the cutting room floor. And from what I heard from Peggy Kaczynski last week, she was saying that that was because the players and the team gave Hard Knocks a list. These are the players you can follow around. The other ones aren't interested. So you can't really blame Hard Knocks. They were given, these are the players you have at your disposal. And at the end of the day, I thought they did the best they could with the list they were given and the rules that were put in front of them by the Bears of keeping this looking proper and professional and representing the Bears organization the way they wanted to see it fit. But overall, a B for me.
Hard Knocks After Dark, presented by ComEd.com. ComEd, helping us keep the lights on. Go to ComEd.com/clean. You guys want to give grades? Woot, you got a grade for this fine operation?
Yeah, I thought it was a B+. I thought it was a great season, and it was great to see the Bears in a great light. And I think they're building momentum, kind of similar to how Detroit did a couple seasons ago, where people started to really rally behind them, whether or not they were Bears fans. I think there's a lot of people that are like, man, I'm going to root for the Bears this year. And I think just what they're building there, everybody's starting to realize. Now, yes, did they not show as much of the fighting, the nitty-gritty, some of the other storylines? Like, right, it'd be nice to see Montez Sweat, be nice to see a little more Cole Kmet, thing like that. So we didn't get to see some of that, but I guess it's kind of at the player's discretion. Like, if they would have done that when I played, I guarantee you Julius Peppers wouldn't have been wanted to be followed. He was kind of like a quiet guy to himself. So I guess to each his own, and I guess that's respect that they kind of honor what the players wanted. but you got to see some cool storylines from some guys that were kind of on the bubble and got to know what their stories were. I think that's a great part about Hard Knocks. It gives you an inside look at the players, and they're more than just football players. At the end of the day, they're people too. So I thought it was a pretty good season.
We got the poll out there, by the way, and 53% of our audience is giving it an A. Hoge, are you in the 53%?
Yeah, I'm gonna go A-, because I do agree that there are a few things here and there that could have been a little bit more raw. And I know for a fact stuff got edited out, and that's fine. I mean, I think if you're the Bears, you're sitting at completely thrilled with this after 5 episodes. They don't care that the swearing wasn't in there. They don't care that the fight got cut short. They care that their GM came out looking like a superstar, very similar to the way Dan Campbell won Hard Knocks a couple years ago with the Lions. I don't think Flus won it to that level, but I think he definitely was on the winning side versus the losing side. And that was one of the storylines we talked about before Hard Knocks started. That, how is this going to go for Matt Eberflus? How is he going to come off? And I think overall it was a victory for him. So I think overall the Bears came out of it very well. But honestly, the more of the reason why I'm giving this an A- is because I have a lot of respect for the production that went into this thing. Being able to be there at camp every day too, and seeing the hours that were being put in, the amount of people, we're talking up to 60 employees at NFL Films putting this thing together, working insane hours. A lot of them who are on site at Hallis are away from their families for weeks and weeks on end. Yep. And I honestly thought that even if you weren't thrilled with the storylines at times, the production value was really, really good. We've talked about this on past episodes. They hit on the Chicago elements, even from start to finish. Literally the open to the close, where it was cutting back and forth between some of the shots at Hallis and downtown Chicago. And that I need to look up that song because I wasn't familiar with that song before Hard Knocks that they kept playing. You know the one I'm talking about? Like, when I go back to Chicago, like that was awesome. Someone in the chat, tell me what that was.
End of the beginning. DJO.
Look at Woot. Look at
Come on, man. I know all types of music, man.
Come on,
man.
Come on. That's
man,
wrong.
I grew up in the suburbs, man. NSYNC, all that. I know everything from rap. I know everything, man. Come on. That's Woot, baby. It's big Woot.
Dude, that Caleb montage they had in that episode, what was super cool. How it was just like cutting to him over here after the play, right to the next play. And that's what I mean with like the production value. Like they took different. Even if the Bears were trying to water this down a little bit, like I thought the Hard Knocks crew found a way to make even some of the redundant stuff, like here's our 5th episode of Caleb Williams throwing ridiculous passes, like they made it look cool with the way they dressed it up. So I think there could have been some more things that really caught your eye, but we got some good stuff these last 2 episodes, and especially tonight with that Velus stuff. We still got to talk about the 3rd, 4th string quarterback situation. Like they did give us some behind the scenes information too that I don't know. I thought it was really good. A- for me.
Well, I agree. By the way, I'm borderline A because I had a low bar. Like I was entertained the whole damn time. I wasn't like dying for something I didn't know. I just kind of liked the fact that the Bears were around there and that we were going to get to do these shows. I enjoyed the whole experience. It's a fun thing. I looked forward to it. I thought they came through. And in fact, I'll give him an A. Who the hell was the dude that sat there on the pavement in the driveway at Hallis Hall and somehow got Khalil Herbert coming out of his car with
barely could get out. Barely could get out.
That wasn't a car, bro. That was a giant truck.
Yeah, I got to talk to Khalil about the way he's spending his money. I want to maybe get Woot on him. Guy was going $1,200 a month to staying in Evanston when he's playing professional football. Herbert's driving some $150,000 vehicle. But like, who's the dude that's there that looked like, I don't know, 7:15 in the morning? Let me get this Khalil Herbert coming out of.
What kind of lift he got on there? Like an 8-inch lift, man. That car was made for me, man.
He was standing on the footstep. Like,
and still
he still had he had jumped down from there.
It'd have been funny if they caught him dinging the car next to him, as he got out.
And it was Ryan Poles' car.
The alarm goes off. Yeah, that was a tight squeeze to get that truck in there.
I'll give another A moment. Jalen Johnson going up to Rome and asking him like, can we work some reps here? That was a cool little thing right there. Jalen looking for extra and he's picking out Rome, and then he's admitting that he's feeling off, and Rome and him. That was a good little behind the scenes moment right there.
Iron sharpens iron, baby.
Yeah.
Well, and you saw that so many times at camp after practice was over. And I know sometimes you guys have to go. Well, right, because the media guys are going back to get ready for the press conferences after practice. But when practice was over, as the fans are all kind of lining up asking for autographs, you'd have the veterans working with the younger players. Jalen would work with, Rome, but you'd also see Reddy Stewart and Kyler Gordon. One guy would play offense versus defense and learn the release off the line of scrimmage. You saw Darnell Wright, working with Montez Sweat, and so many different examples across the board where the chemistry on this team is just palpable, and a good mixture of veterans and young players on this team.
So, question, and Hoge, Woot, you maybe have a little more expertise on this, but Gregory, you're a brilliant man too, and you coach people. But when Caleb is sitting in there and he's listening to Flus in every single episode, to me, he looks really annoyed. Like Flus, like, oh, this is going to be great. This is going to be great. You're going to get 41 reps.
I'm going to analyze you now. That is confirmation bias for what you think you're imagining it would be.
That's maybe so. Fine.
You're projecting. You're projecting.
Yeah.
That's what you would be doing.
You'd feel if you were Caleb.
That's what you'd be doing if you were
sitting in that room. Coach talking to me about offense.
He's like this. He's like,
because that's how Carm felt earlier today. We went through a 1-hour meeting for our post game show.
That's not how I felt.
Like, he didn't want to. He didn't want to be there. He don't want to be looking at a screen. So you're just projecting that on Caleb now. Now, real winners, real faces of the franchise are engaged. They're looking at their rep counts. They're breaking it all down. They take coaching, and then there's Carm.
Okay. I'm sorry. The guy looks annoyed to me. Maybe I'm projecting. Maybe I'm doing everything you're saying. Maybe I'm making this all way too personal. He doesn't look like when Flus is talking. Flus is like, yeah, this is going to be great. This is going to be awesome. And Cam's like, yeah, I get it. We want to start well, start fast. Got you. I think that relationship is still being built. How's that? Can anybody agree with me there? No, it's fine. I don't care.
No, it's more fun to just bust toss you and everybody make fun of you.
All right. Well, then I'll give one more. These are the Carmies, my annoyed moments.
The Carmies. Oh man, through the back door, the Carmies.
Wow. We got a graphic for that.
Yeah, get that going.
Carm going like this.
Speaking of the Carmies, shout out to our girl Carmen Vitale getting engaged.
Yeah, I'll listen to her. Oh, she got engaged.
She did.
I
missed that.
Yeah, she put it on Instagram.
Awesome.
The
real Carm.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Whoa. But that's fine. Carmi V's top notch. She can be the real fake Carm. Karan Amagaji fighting for Yale wrote the rules of football.
Yes. Theo Benedict bringing up that he claims
I didn't need that scene.
Canada played football before America, and then Kieran standing up for America, saying that Yale came up with the rules of the game. So there was a little bit of Canada versus America there.
Thank you, Hoge. Is there anything else that possibly is going on that's more interesting than these two?
Yes, there is. I saw many things at camp on a daily basis. I believe there was a whole Mercedes Lewis storyline that never even got told. And I think that's one of the,
Tyler Scott's graduation. They followed him.
Yeah, that's why I didn't go A+, because I know too much about this, but I just there are things that I know got skipped over, and I know not everything can make it. It's just how it is. But I didn't need that forced Theo Benedict Karan Amagashi situation happening there on the sideline.
I mean, that was an interesting choice. What about can we send Gregory to find Matt Eberflus's house?
No, we can't. Please, come on. We're already having issues there. That would be the terrible idea.
What are we having issues? First off, we are not having issues with anything
or something.
Me finding any houses. Jesus Christ.
Oh, let me clarify. That was not what I specifically meant. No, I just meant
That's okay. Listen, let me restate it. Matt Eberflus, it's the Carm. If you could ever invite me over for the zillions of people that you've invited over there so I could just see what your house is, I would really love to come.
So wait, where does he live? Where does he live?
Where does he live?
Somewhere right by the lake.
That somebody's got to figure it out. That house has got to be $12 million.
Carm has attempted every episode he's been on to dox whoever, because the last time he was on, they were riding from the stadium. Who was it? Tory Taylor, and he was like, "That guy lives in Lincolnshire," or wherever he said. Streeterville. And so
he was wrong because it was the team hotel.
Right. So then the other thing too, like if we want to talk about doxing, it was surprising that they showed where the undrafted free agent rookies were staying at the hotel they were staying at. They like showed the name of the hotel.
They didn't do that till the last episode though, right?
Right. I get that, but
I think they're all checked out now.
Yeah, of course. I'm just saying I was surprised they even showed that.
Are you Flus's beekeeper? This is a great point that somebody just put in the thing. Ooh. Mr. Perry thinks that Braggs is the beekeeper. You could be the beekeeper.
Listen, after as many times as I fired Matt Eberflus on our post-game shows last year, I'm pretty sure if I did find Matt Eberflus's house, he would unleash his entire beehive onto me.
That was a funny scene.
That's a guest I would want on this show. Can we do we need the beekeeper on this show.
Yeah. It's
great idea,
man.
Great idea.
We're from bricklaying to beekeeping.
Flus's beekeeper joins CHGO Bears. Let's get that done. He
would have had some crutches though in the beekeeper, right? Because you still in the crutches, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean I'm just saying. So it's obviously not you. Okay.
No.
I'm not paying. I'm not even pay you any money. You know what? We're gonna hit me and you. We're gonna hit the reset button now that the season started. You've had your fun with me all off season, but
I'll see you every Sunday, baby.
I'm excited to see you every Sunday. This is gonna be a fun year. Mm-hmm. I'm letting you get all this out. You've been picking on me all off season, but now that the season has started, me and you, we're gonna have some bonding because I know we watch games on the same wavelength where we go crazy. So I'm excited for this.
Can I just ask, are the Carmies still going on right now, or did that segment end? I just don't know what's happening.
Well, to no surprise, the Carmies have absolutely no plan or structure.
Yeah. Okay.
And definitely not in the rundown.
Not the rundown.
I have one more for the Carmies to wrap up the Carmies. Thank you, Hoge, for bringing it to a conclusion. Montez Sweat and Austin Booker doing the hand thing. Woot, that was cool.
What was that? Can you do that one more time?
Hand thing.
Can you do it?
Yeah. They were doing that defensive lineman stuff.
I was surprised you didn't have any thoughts, Mark, on when Jake Curran and Ryan Poles were talking about the crowded offensive line room and how tough it is to make that room. Because I know that that's been firing you up lately.
He's on my notes. I wrote down Byron Coward, Colin Johnson, and Jake Curran, but I wasn't gonna be. But it wasn't interesting enough to bring it up. But thank you for pointing that out. Did you? I mean, by the way,
all three of those guys made the practice squad, right, which I didn't think Hard Knocks made very clear for those guys. They're still around. They're on the practice squad.
Yeah, and okay. Now that we've done all the Carmies, I think to wrap up the show here, Hoge, you wanted to talk about the Austin Reed / Brett Rippon situation.
Yeah, because that was actually something I was wondering how that.
Oh God!
Look at Steven. Coming through, if you're listening to the podcast later, Steven managed to turn around a graphic for the Carmies.
Me Boulevard.
That's so good.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Steven, bravo.
He looks constipated.
Flus wins the Carmies tonight for his whole thing, but the buzzing the tower on the B comment to his wife, that was amazing. Kelly Eberflus, that was you're winning. You get to go to bed next to Flus. Yeah, that was amazing.
We're talking about that graphic still. By the way, just to put the perfect exclamation point on this whole ball crew, whatever I'm supposed to call you, over the weekend, there was a viral video of one of these poor girls who made the ball crew over Carm, by the way. And the tennis player, what's her name?
I don't even know what her name is.
Okay. Yeah. Whatever her name was, basically treating this poor girl like crap. She had to end up apologizing. So here is Carm's Super Bowl moment for somebody to tee him up on the analysis of this moment. So I did. I'm like, we need Carm analysis on what happened here. And he got it wrong. All I know is like, he's like, I don't see a signal here or whatever. And then someone immediately in the comments called him out. Well, what about that? And Carm's like, yeah, this is embarrassing. I got it wrong.
I did. Well,
supposed to be Mr. Tennis, man.
I was.
Come on.
You outed yourself for why you didn't make it.
Yeah, well, listen, I did miss the signal. I was watching on my phone, didn't have my glasses on, and then I re-looked at the comments the next day, and I watched it closer on the big screen. I got it wrong. That's what a great ball person does. They cop to it, and that's what I had to do, and that was disappointing.
Yeah,
and she got enough flack for that. So that was Putas and Nevas.
So if they would have talked to you like that, would you have just taken it, or would you be like, "Hey,
I would have walked right up.
I'm Carm.
Listen here. I know this is going rough for you, but you're not going to take it out on me. I'm out here busting my ass, getting you the balls. It is hot out here. There is pressure, and you will come correct on your tennis."
All right. I'm sorry. I'm the one who went off script there. Yeah, a couple things I just wanted to sneak in. Yeah, so I was really curious. I didn't get the sense that they were going to keep Austin Reed over Brett Rippon. And so in tonight's episode confirmed that. We saw Brett go sign with Vikings, but it was still a little unclear. Did they just tell him you're out and then he signed with the Vikings, or did they really want him on the practice squad over Austin Reed? And we did learn that tonight, that Brett Rippon was, if he hadn't been signed by the Vikings or another team on the 53, he would have been back on the Bears practice squad, and Austin Reed would have been headed elsewhere or potentially home. So I just thought that was interesting. We needed to mention that as well. And then real quick, kind of going back to the Hard Knocks production side of things, that was almost cold how they like snuck Joe Shane in there after Joe Shane just had his whole Giants Hard Knocks series that definitely did not go as well as this one just did for Ryan Poles. And then to have them standing there at the sidelines of that Georgia Clemson game the other day, and just Joe, you could tell being like, it must be nice to have your quarterback. Damn it. I wish I had one of those.
Danny Dimes, baby.
That was almost cold by them to put that in there. But good juxtaposition of how these two franchises that were just featured on Hard Knocks at different points of this offseason are standing right now, and you'd much rather be Ryan Poles with Caleb Williams.
Did you think Poles was a little short with Joe right there? Just a drop, like he wasn't having it?
It was such a short thing. I don't know if that was part of a longer conversation. He definitely didn't want to tell who was that sideline reporter? Molly.
Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted some info there on who he was watching. He's like, I just got here. I don't know.
Get out of here, reporter person. I'm telling you who I'm looking at. What are you, nuts? I mean, it's good reporting, I guess. Good for you,
she's
Ryan.
doing her job. She's
fine.
trying to get the info.
Mm-hmm. And then how about Brett Rippon saying Tyson Bagent is as experienced as a second-year guy as you'll ever get, Mark Carman. I know that was probably a proud papa moment for you.
Thank you, David. Molly McGrath. I should have known that. And Molly does a great job, by the way.
She does.
I have a great Molly McGrath story. One time she was at Assembly Hall for an IU Purdue game. I didn't know who she was, and I wanted someone to take my picture of me on the court because I had never been to Assembly Hall. And so this girl was standing there, and I was like, would you mind taking a picture? And I meant of me standing on the court, and she went like we were both going to take a picture. And I looked at her. I'm like, why did you just do that? And then I realized that she's somebody, and I didn't know who it was. This was like before she was with college football and all the bigger stuff she's onto now. And so I was like apologizing profusely. I just wanted a picture of me on the court. I didn't want a picture with this girl. I didn't know who she was at the time. So it was a great moment, though. It was funny.
By the way, Greg, isn't there something you want to tell people with 30 seconds?
I want to give a quick reminder. If you're watching on Roku, you can watch the conclusion of this episode if you head over to our YouTube channel, search CHGO Sports to find it there. Until then, it's going to finish up. But Adam, I know, we were talking about diehards earlier, and this is a good time to kind of mention one of the perks of being a diehard for the 85 show, right?
Yes, because we are allowing diehards to ask Cole Kmet questions for the 85 with Cole Kmet. Now it's going to be kind of bonus content he does on the YouTube channel. Remember, that's a separate YouTube channel you got to go to subscribe. So go check it out. New episode. Steven, help me out. We're dropping that tomorrow morning.
Yeah, it's gonna be a late night, but we're gonna get it up by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll have a brand new episode up Wednesday morning. And Mercedes Lewis is on that show, by the way. So 2 Bears captains talking to each other. Just them. I'm not in this interview. They banned me from interviews after I insulted the last 2 guests.
Oh,
That's not actually true. We actually did this interview a couple weeks ago. Probably my favorite interview on the show so far because Mercedes Lewis is so interesting. So I guess Hard Knocks was just doing us a solid and delaying what they got on Mercedes Lewis. And instead you can get that on the 85 with Cole Kmet. But yeah, if you are a diehard, you have the opportunity. Go in the Discord channel. There's now a channel and instructions for how you can submit a video or audio. Don't be shy. Send some questions in. There's an email address on there to send those questions in for the 85, and Cole will answer questions from fans. Really cool perk.
Let's get to Super Chat so we can all go and do what we need to do, which is watch Tiafo and Dimitrov. They're going to the 3rd set right now, a set apiece. Very exciting. Woot, if I was in New York and you were in New York, we should go meet there right now. $10 from Gritty. Great episode. Ryan Pohl's best GM. Carmen, a great cameo as the beekeeper. Nice touch. Song. Featured in the schedule release. As the closer track, Optimism is Max. My wife saw me cry. Let's effing CHGO. That is Gritty. You're on fire, man. Bradley Haas with the $5. Thank you, Bradley. Appreciate you.
How do you say it, Adam?
Hase.
Bradley. You guys almost had it. 5 episodes in.
he did a thing like Pootie Tang. That's what
Brad
it is. Pootie
Hasse.
Tang.
Brad Hasse, my guy.
Hasse,
You ever
Why
seen
can't I
Pootie Tang
get
where
that?
he doesn't say anything? That's
No.
what Bradley did.
He's gonna come to one of our tailgates. I think for maybe the Rams game or something. So I'll formally introduce you to my good friend Brad Hasse. Shout out to Brad.
It's okay, Hasse. No one says my last name properly either.
That's true.
So
That's true. You guys
Ha-
don't have that in common.
I feel bad.
Hasse, if you're friends with Braggs, your minimum requirement for a Super Chat is $10. Zero Demon, $10. Between the Velus trade talk and getting emotional with cuts, I can't tell if Pose is soft or a good GM or both. Nah, Zero, he's allowed to be in his feelings. That means he's stronger. Men who show their feelings are stronger men. It's the new model of manhoodness.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I agree.
it's like Carm, like Ace Ventura in that scene when he finds out that she's a man and he's crying in the shower, right?
I was going to actually take it in a different turn and tell you that,
Yeah.
I was manly when I was crying when Seabiscuit won the race the other night when I saw it for the 15th time.
What are you, David Kaplan? Jeez.
I love Seabiscuit.
You couldn't have fixed it. You couldn't have gotten your microphone set up while Seabiscuit was on.
The microphone came today. That was another night ago. The mic
He was
fake.
busy, watching Seabiscuit. You're an idiot.
Listen,
1999 Super
listen to
Chat.
me.
Just like Ryan Pohl said, it's time to win now. I'm counting down the minutes to my flight on Saturday. Cannot wait to experience a CHGO tailgate and Soldier Field for the first time. See you at 7:30 Sunday morning, Braggs. I'll see you there, Jeff. Bright and early. We'll have it all set up for you. Can't wait for you to come out and have some fun with us.
Anthony Fistry, $5. There must not be any tennis right now. Carm is here. There is tennis right now. I love my job, but I will be getting off this job and going to watch tennis. Bear Down Omaha, $2. We got to get Carm a shelf full of stuff. Go Bears. See, I don't know how to do this. But like one of my
We know.
But like nothing looks good. It all looks cluttered. Like nobody can see anything. Like I want it to look nice.
All right, we'll figure it out, and then get back to us.
There's
But
gotta
get
be
your your mic figured out first. Then we'll work on your background.
It's only been 2 years. Okay. APB_Esquire 499. I need to know if they made Benedict change his shirt, and if so, why? I can't be the only one that saw that. Great Hard Knocks run. Love this team. Bear down. Does anyone know what he's talking about? Because I don't.
I didn't catch the shirt thing.
I didn't know.
APB, we failed you, and we apologize. Jeff 490. Yes,
sorry.
go ahead.
Yep,
No, you go. Go ahead.
Burning through them. Jeff 499 Super Chat. Sunday is a must-win game for this team. Keep your "it's the first game" stuff at home. This team is talented enough for us to expect a win. Jeff will be talking about a lot more of that here tomorrow. Brian Baldinger will join our noon show, and we'll have some more fun stuff planned for Thursday, and then a Friday preview show. So a lot more Bears Titans talk to go. And if you haven't watched today's episode where Adam Amin came into studio, definitely go check that out. He's on the play-by-play call for Fox on Sunday, and he was nice enough to break down that Titans matchup with us today.
Bryce Buckmaster 499. Appreciate you, Bryce. Next up is Michael Renouf, $1.99. Poles is an absolutely fantastic leader of men. I think we've underlined that enough tonight. Poles won Hard Knocks. I think that's a fair assessment. Bear Down Omaha, another $2. Wonder what George House would say about no cussing. I'll tell you what, Bear Down Omaha, George House would never pay $2 for a super chat because that just wasn't him. So,
I don't know what does that mean, Hoge? Like,
he was cheap, man. He was the cheapest. Talk to Bears players from that era. They have a very much love-hate relationship with George, but he was the founder of the NFL, and I get it. And
right, because they talked about how he led the way for revenue sharing and stuff in the NFL.
Ed O'Bradovich threw his helmet into the stands after they won the NFL title in 1963. And he was fined $500 by George Halas, who's making $10,000 because he threw his helmet in the stands.
Man, I wonder who has that helmet. What a helmet to have.
Shout out OB. $4.99 from Mark Gautier. Good morning, fellas. Poles is a compassionate human being. LOL Rippen's comments about team as his way to the airport. Team has chemistry. That was interesting. You underlined it, Hoge.
Gritty in the chat. I'm enjoying Adam enduring this right now.
He's in a straight endure.
Sorry, charged 5% of his yearly salary over a helmet.
This is like
yes.
This is the fourth straight Tuesday that Steven and Adam have done 3 shows in one day. So
it's a lot, and it's never happening again. Well, until Sunday.
If there's anybody, if you thought George McCaskey didn't want Hard Knocks in Chicago, Adam Hoge and Stephen Nicholas for the rest of time will fight harder to never have it here in Chicago than George McCaskey did for the first time.
Chubbs 82.
They can have it again when I'm retired.
You're never retiring. Bears fans will not let you leave. Chubbs 82, $5. Coolest part of the show was linking Caleb's plays together. We talked about that. This team is tight focused. And well coached. Thank you, Chubbs.
I love that.
Craig Leach, $5. What's up, my piece? Off to watch Hard Knocks now. Okay, Craig, I hope you enjoyed it. Like we all did. $4.99 from Kyle Smith. I was mad last year that they did not release Velus Jones. Glad to eat crow on this one. By the way, you released a new shirt 2 days after I ordered my free one, and he's not wild about that. Kyle, we apologize. The good news is
you get a discount now on all your shirts going forward because you're a diehard.
And when you renew, you get a free one next year. So, go nuts. $5 from Seth Crane. My biggest surprise, Ian Cunningham having a bigger office than Joe Shane. Was that true? Is that accurate?
Yeah, now that I think about it, they were similar sizes. I just love Poles as that secret wall that comes down that hides the depth chart. Because even the first time I saw that depth chart and had Hard Knocks, I was like, wait a minute. I was in that room like yesterday and there was not a whiteboard there. It was a wall. Like that. Yeah. So then my son was asking me why they blurred it out. And I was like, because can't have that information, son.
It's an underrated
secret.
Hoge humble brag when I was in his office, just hanging with Pauls in the office. You, John's in the office, Pauls. Buckmaster 499. Pauls is a GM that truly cares for his team and players, makes this roster a little more impressive, knowing the emotional toll it clearly takes on him. I bet you Pauls got emotional when Hoge left his office. I'll see you soon, Adam. Great interview. Loved it.
Is the show over?
I thought he was about to walk. I thought Adam was about to walk off right there. Zero Demon, $20 super chat. That Jalen Johnson moment with Rome was straight from the advice Richard Sherman gave him on his podcast when he interviewed Jalen. Really worth a watch if you guys haven't seen it. It was a great deep dive.
I just saw that on Twitter, so that must be a thing. I'm gonna check it out. Here,
Zero Demon, you're on fire tonight. Dr. Bunny is in the house for $19.99. Hey, Corey. Dr. Bunny dominates our Discord channel. Reason to become a diehard just for Dr. Bunny. Hey, Corey. Oh, and the others too. Thanks for staying late. It's appreciated. A drink on me for y'all in Phoenix when we drop the hammer on the cards. Oh, and I was right about Caleb.
Dr. Bunny. I need that drink. A double tequila, soda, splash of a little pineapple, baby.
I'm going to knock down a little whiskey of the Angel Envy variety. Thank you to our guy. There we go.
All right, Carm. You got some taste. I thought you were going to say I'm going to pop out, open a Zima or something like that. Remember Zima?
That would be.
Ryan told me I couldn't open that Angels Envy until the Bears win when they beat the Titans. So, but Carm's really testing that right now.
I guess we're bringing that to the studio.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
No,
that's a good idea.
We could do that. $10 from Gritty. Thank you for all the hard work and plethora of coverage during the summer. You guys are awesome. Thank you, Gritty. You've been supporting us every single day. We appreciate it. Steven and Hoge, I am awarding you guys Carm's future vacation days. You have earned it. That's messed up, Gritty. I thought you were on my team.
Yes.
It's been it's tough taking time off in the middle of this training camp. I don't know how I did it. I had so much support too from everybody on the show. They were so happy that I.
David Hunsacker, $9.99 super chat. Jalen learning from Rome was amazing.
That was awesome. Is that how many more we got?
That's it. People, were a couple that were brought in. Well, and then now Dr. Bunny dropping another one in here. Corey, $10 super chat from Dr. Bunny. Corey, you can have whatever you want.
Oh, thanks, Dr. Bunny. Appreciate it.
Now.
First Class Kelly. It's a family show. Braggs.
This is After Dark. Thank you very much. And all I said was, hey now.
Yeah, okay. All right. We can go now. Everybody wants to leave. We appreciate the incredible support that we were shown by all of you watching our Hard Knocks recaps. Yes, Hoge, you can go too.
This was good. I mean, no, in all seriousness, like, it was a grind on these Tuesdays, but wouldn't have had it any other way because I was very excited that Hard Knocks was happening with the Bears. It was very interesting to watch, and it was super fun to jump on here and kind of recap it all right after it happened. And another shout out to Braggs for getting Shannon Furman on a couple weeks ago. I would actually go if you missed that episode, I would go back and listen to it, watch it, because to get the Hard Knocks director on right after one of the episodes was super cool. And I know she did some interviews elsewhere, but she didn't do any other interview where it was right after an episode aired. And that was really cool access to get from her. So this was fun. I'm glad it's over. But for 5 weeks, this was a lot of fun.
And now the season starts Sunday. Looking forward to it, fellas.
Woot will be in studio with us on Sunday. Brian Baldinger tomorrow. For those of us who did 3 of the 5 Hard Knock shows, you did a great job. Good hard work, intermittently jumping in and contributing to the program. Great job by you, me. And on that note, I think we could say goodnight. Gregory, say goodnight. Why don't you say goodnight to everybody?
We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Season's here. Bear down.
We all silly like the mayor.